Coming up next on the Jeff Curley Show, we'll take a deep dive into the David versus Goliath fight on Wall Street and the rise of the retail investor. That's next. This is the Jeff Curley Show. Well, never before has the world been so fascinated with the rise of the retail investor. The little guy now has, it seems, the same footing as some of the big boys. To talk about that today, Gust Kepler and Pharis, they're co-founders of BlackBoxStocks. Thanks for coming on the show.
Thanks for having us, Jeff.
Always great to be here.
Yeah, well, you guys were ahead of your time because you launched this 6 years ago, right? Gus, why don't you start? How did the company start?
Well, Eric and I had been friends for 4 or 5 years prior to ever discussing a business venture. And he was in the high-frequency trading space, and I was in the investment banking consulting space. So I knew there was a need for a product like what we've created. So one night over drinks, it's the cocktail napkin story. I said, "Do you think you could build this?" And he said, "We can give it a shot."
And one of the things that you added to it, Eric, I'll have you jump in, is a community that's very vibrant and people are talking and having conversations and building friendships online. Isn't that right?
Yeah, it's funny. It evolved out of a necessity for our developers to communicate with the community when we first launched our product. And we were putting all this technical analysis in the product, and we realized that there was a need for people to be discussing as a community what's going on in the market. And it sort of evolved from the very beginnings of our development, and then it's blossomed into this massive community now that really where we combine social media and proprietary analytics that no one else offers.
Yeah, it's a hybrid of sorts.
And you guys have been seeing massive growth. Gust, you were telling me 303% in a year?
Yes, year over year. As of today, we're at 303%.
Wow. Okay, take me back to a couple weeks ago when the GameStop thing was making all the news. What was your community doing? Eric, did you guys have chatter about GameStop?
Yeah, it was interesting. I mean, we alerted to it very early on because that's what our analytics do. They pick up anomalies. And I remember saying to my friend across the table, I said, "Oh, it's interesting. We just alerted to this GameStop, which is headquartered up in Grapevine." And he's like, "Yeah, it's really interesting." We never, foresaw this David Goliath scenario playing out early on. But our community handles these sorts of things very well. This isn't anything really new for them. And so I think in general, we proceeded with a lot of caution and tried to educate people that are coming on about how these short squeezes work and the risks involved.
So what's the difference between the Reddit investor and the BlackBoxStocks investor?
Well, Reddit is a chat room.
Mm-hmm.
BlackBox is a proprietary software that provides real-time analytics for day traders and investors and swing traders. And the community is a portion of what we provide, but I like to say we're the best of man and machine. What we've created is a platform that provides analytics viewed by thousands of people, and then the social aspect of our community, the live broadcast enabled, where people are actually talking. They're not just typing and chatting, they're talking. They form a consensus about those analytics. Mm-hmm. So again, you have, thousands of eyes on multiple sectors of the market that our system is scanning and bringing in these analytics to the user. And then the hierarchy in the community is opining on it, and the new people listen and learn. And so a very powerful educational tool.
And you also have this kind of rise of the guy who might normally be doing video games, and now suddenly he or she is day trading. Do you want to speak to that?
Yeah, I think there's a gamification element in trading. I think it started with cryptocurrency, sort of got people in, and gaming, and people like watching the screen and seeing things move in real time, and they get involved. And so what we try to do is make sure they're educated as best we can, so that they know what they're getting into, which is where Robinhood lets kind of people, they sign them up and then they don't give them a lot of information.
So, Gus, we're almost out of time. So, in the final couple minutes, talk about this this trend on the GameStop, and then we saw it again on silver. Is it dangerous? I mean, does it create bubbles?
Well, the GameStop scenario was a very rare one. What you had there is several hedge funds that were short, and the retail investor getting wind of it, exploiting these very detrimental short positions these hedge funds had taken. They didn't
Sure.
see the masses coming, and then it was just a pile on. What happened in that particular scenario? A lot of people made money. A lot of people probably lost. That got in too far at the top. But I mean, as far as that happening over and over, I think a lot of hedge funds will be more careful about the way they advertise
Right.
their short positions in the future. But there's always a chance for another anomaly like that to happen.
But the stock market is so vast. Just day traders playing around with one or two stocks can't upset the whole market, can it, Eric?
No, I don't see this cascading into any kind of major event. But it is, short selling is an important part of a healthy market. It helps keep CEOs honest, right? And there's a lot of short sellers out there that have exposed a lot of fraud. So it's a healthy thing, and this is just going to take. Hedge funds are going to probably, be a little more careful about shorting low float stocks.
There's two different types of shorts, in my opinion. There are healthy shorts, like short positions where a stock may be overvalued, or a particular hedge fund or an analyst is pointing out a weakness or a vulnerability the company has. And then there are the predatory shorts that just come in, spread bad information about a company, and really hurt small companies that are trying to obtain capital through this the public markets. And I view them just as bad as the pump and dump people. It's just a reverse scenario.
And just in the last few weeks, you've been quoted by media outlets all over the planet. That's got to feel good.
I guess somebody thinks I'm smart.
Well, I think you're smart, and you were way ahead of your time, because 6 years ago, you two coming up with this idea, I applaud you, and obviously you're being rewarded by the users. Guys, thanks so much for coming on the show. We're going to end with your website so everybody can get in touch. It's BlackBoxStocks.com. Thank you so much for being on the show.
Thanks,
Thanks,
Jeff.
Jeff.
You bet. And that's it for now. We'll see you next time.